Others down the glen one Easter morn to a city Pharaohdine. Their armed lines of marching band in squadrons pass me by. No fife did hum nor battle drum did sound its dread tattoo, but the Angela bell or the feast swell rang out through the foggy dew.
Well, the mural is the Belfast narrative of 1916, and it's our connection to that seminal moment. But what we wanted to tell is how we arrived at 1916. So we start with the United Irishmen, and we come through the cultural movement of the late 19th century into the early 20th century, and people like Denny McCulloch and Bulmer Hobson, and then of course the organisation into 1914, and we're talking about individuals like Winifred Carney, the Corr sisters, people who were involved directly in the rising. So what we tried to capture is a Belfast narrative. Here at the International Wall, which is a reflection of the political concerns that we have both about our own society and about an international society, you see visitors every day who come here and look at what we have to say through the medium of the mural. And of course this is a perfect location to tell our Belfast story.
Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which he receives her own tradition of nationhood, Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through her open military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizen Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment.
Well, the murals are class. I mean, this has been a site that has seen brilliant artistic expression, not only about history and the history of Belfast, but also the history of republicanism, and indeed other struggles throughout the world, particularly around equality and human rights. So I think this is a brilliant gift, really, to the people of Belfast and even all the tourists that come.
I think if you look at this wall and obviously look at the great job what all the artists have done on this particular, what we call the International Wall in West Belfast, it's absolutely a first class job. You could go anywhere in the world and you wouldn't see as fine as art as what you see in this wall with regards to murals, and I think it's a first class job. That's why hundreds of people come to this spot every single day from all around the world to look and to learn from the history, not only the history of Ireland but the history of around the world, as Carl has rightly says. But we're a wee bit selfish this year. This is the 100th anniversary of the 1916 Rising, and this is about the Belfast connection of the 1916 Rising, and the wall tells that story this time. So I have no doubt that throughout the next months thousands of people will come to this spot, will have taken photographs. This will be on people's photo albums right across the world, and people will look at this and say, what a great job this is, how much of a historical aspect this is to West Belfast and beyond, and what a great job the artists have done. And I have to commend also the 1916 committee for having the vision, for taking this and for making this wall a living historical project which tells the story of 1916 and world history.
I have an indefeasible right, if tried at all under this statute of high treason, in Ireland, before an Irish court and by an Irish jury. This is so fundamental a right that it is clear that the Crown were aware of it when they brought me by force and by stealth from Ireland to this country. I assert from this dock that I am being tried here not because it is just, but because it is unjust. Our movement aimed at uniting all Irishmen in a natural and national bond of cohesion based on mutual self-respect. Our hope was a natural one, and, if left to ourselves, not hard to accomplish.
We started painting this wall maybe 25 years ago, and it was issues reflecting what was happening in our community. We've continued to do so, and right through the peace process, we've hopefully, in my view, tried to endorse and rubber stamp those positive people who were bringing us forward. Today we're focusing on the anniversary of Sir Roger Casement, and who died. He was hung in Pentonville Prison on the 3rd of August 1916, the last of the leaders to be executed. So what we wanted to do was tell our story, the Northern story, and connect with it and celebrate those Northerners who courageously went out and kick-started this struggle we're part of. This year we saw the passing of a dear friend and comrade, Shawnee McVeigh. I know he's still with us. It was Shawnee, even in the last weeks of his terminal cancer, was able to come up with that great idea of doing the Banksy image of Patrick Pearse to help the Moore Street campaign. In fact, we had a copy of it on display here today. So we dedicate, as the artists who created the imagery, not on behalf of the sponsors but on behalf of ourselves, we dedicate this wall to our friend Shawnee, a great wee blanket man, the first blanket man from the Short Strand, and a lifelong Republican comrade.
Back to the glen I rode again, and my heart with grief was sore. For I parted then with valiant men, whom I never shall see no more. But to and fro in my dreams I'll go, I'll kneel and I'll pray for you. For slavery fled or the glory is dead, when you fell in the foggy dew. Yeah!